Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, today Matthias will not be here. I mean, he will be here, but he cannot do a live video. So I will do the live video today, but only for the German Bund future. Yeah, if you got questions, you can always write us at the public chat. And yeah, enjoy. Yeah, the Bund future made its bounce back here at short before the Kasse open. So at the auction phase at 8:50, we see the bounce back here to the absorption area, the buying area. It's still active. It's even proven that it's still absorption here. You see this at this level here, and also the volume edge of the last week's profile. And right now we are seeing a lot of selling after the cash open, but the sellers got absorbed here around this minor POC at 172.54. So what I'm waiting for actually is to build value above this POC, because I could not get into my hypo 1 trade. My hypo 1 trade was the bounce back, but the bounce was already running in the pre-market. So I'm not trading at the pre-market. So right now I'm waiting for a trend play, but of course only if there is a value acceptance above this minor POC. On the opposite side, there is the stock markets today that are proven a little bit stronger after the positive news from the G20 summit. And so, of course, Bund is more probable than if the rise of the stock markets continue to fall down. And that's the other scenario. If we can go below the POC and build value in the micro level, for me, below the 172.48, I'm looking for the short trade. This is against the big picture, but we are in a 2-week consolidation in Bund, so there's space, and this is the short below the 172.48 down to the area 37, 36, or even 25, 26, 27. So this is the other scenario. As long there's just the absorption here at the POC and passive buyers trying to get in, as long as the price does not stabilize above the POC, there's nothing to do in Bund future right now. The DAX gapped up and it's still in a long move. It's a trendish scenario in the DAX right now. So I'm only watching it here for the correlation. And so there's no volume data or anything. So, but for me, for trading the Bund now, you see that DAX made a up gap and now it's trending higher with a short reaction in the pre-market. And now consolidation, taking profits right now going on. Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. Let's have a look at the intraday chart right now. There's the buyers trying now to push higher the first time. So extending the open range, what is calculated in my case for the first minute of the market. First 2 minutes of the market about. And this extension is now being played for the market participants. And we know if there's only short-term traders, or say at least a majority of short-term traders, they can extend but cannot evolve a higher bouncing. They cannot, and they have not enough energy, to make higher prices. They can extend and make spikes, but can't make any more. And if they're a majority of other time frame OTF traders, they can lift it higher. And right now we see this here, that we switch from a continuation selling process, which got absorbed by the buyers. This is very interesting, you see here. And now we're switching the buying and the selling stops, this continuation selling stops, the absorption held. And now we switch to active buying. Right now, this is the area where we see that they build a little bit, trying to build value above the at the moment's value, which is also above the yesterday minor volume POC. So this is not an important theme. If they can push it higher, we have a good chance to see running against the upper distribution POC, the main POC of yesterday at 172.66, and even go higher. Let's watch how the volume plays out. This is now the entry scenario for me. So we see the active scenario building value at the micro level now. They're pushing to the B8 main POC of yesterday. And let's see if the interest of buying still continues here. Price just hit 65 and also traded 84 contracts into the ask of 66. But right now you see big time reactive, responsive sellers here. Big time, big time. 4 to 5 packages with more than 100, 150, 295, 232 contracts got sold. And remember what I said before? If there is a majority of short-term traders, there is no possibility for them to push the market higher. So with the lack of OTF trader, you can't extend. So that's the moment of where we have to watch out. If the market now disagrees with higher prices again, in this area, most of the time you see they test in the high again, and if you see a second time of a rejection of responsive selling here, the probability is about 70-80% that prices will go back here to the 172.58. This is the at the moment intraday POC. And if there's no selling rejection on the top, and they can put through and make higher prices, and then we have good chances to get higher to the area about maximum to about 172 and 80. Now we are at the top area above 66, 67, and buying doesn't not stop. You see now 166 contracts got traded on 68. So there's buying interest. So now the probability is much higher for the buy continuation. So if one got in, as I said, at the moment at 911, this was about 172, 61, 62, and is in the trade. Now you can hold till there's a reason to sell. The reason to sell would be a selling again below the at the moment, for me, at the moment POC at 65 and even at 64. So if there's still selling at 65 and even interested in selling 64 bigger, then you can think of going out of this trade on scratch. If not, you stay in. You always have to today you have to be beware of a lot of numbers coming. Some of them are only of minor impact, but some of them are also major impact. The bigger impact in numbers today should be at 9:55 today, so around about in 35 minutes, the German unemployment rate of June, this will have an impact. And there's also the 4 o'clock, the EMI of in United States. And the minor numbers are running right now. It was 9:15, the Spain EMI which was obviously weaker than expected, 49.6 expected, 47.90. And then there's coming at 9.30s with 9.45 Italian, 9.50 France, followed by 9.55, as I said, the German unemployment rate. So be prepared. The volatility is set to be switched on and off in a 10 to 15 minutes duration. So be prepared. Just. And the buyer interested in Bund after only small profit taken. There's only small profit taken in this movement. You see it in the tape. Small profit taken in the movement. And let's have a look at the tape right now. Here you see it. This is the tape right now. And you see this is the phase of profit taken. Either there is absorption, that means that the selling doesn't not push it deeper, so the bid stays strong. You see there's only one time it was pushed lower to the 67, but 67 holds, then back to the 68, push to the 67, and then after you see the absorption holds the price, they switch back to the buying, and you see the tape is right now it's green, so no need to hurry and stay in the trade. By the way, this is a little bit a pivot. This is a little bit a separation area here from yesterday. So the whole distribution was a little bit split by a lack of interest in trading around the area of 69 to 72. So this is where we are right now at the moment. So we need some push again from the buyers to get higher and even take on the upper region of this whole distribution of this auction process, which begins obviously at 172.73 and could bring us again to the high of yesterday afternoon trading, or yesterday last trading day, which was Friday, to the top areas around 172.80 to 82. So let's see if they can push it higher, or if they fail to get higher, then this will be an important mark. You see also the liquidity that got provided at this level at 72, at 70 to 74, 75. Right now they push it higher and set about 500 contracts traded here, market at the 70, 71 level. And right now you see first absorption, and right now they taking a little bit of profits again. It falls back. So this is the area we have to watch if they can make it here above. Trade is still on, hypo number one, and for people trading more contracts, still no reason to sell here. Absolutely not. And always remember, market pays you or it's not paying you. But right now it's looking good. And like I said, the next level of liquidity and high liquidity, high volume edge area around this 75, 76 up to 80 area begins at 75 with higher liquidity provided here with around 600 to 630 contracts in the ask. We wait. The Bund is still trying to get higher. The signs of buying now a little bit weaker though. We have a delta divergence, but it all doesn't matter. So this is only for me. This would be only interesting if I was a trader now looking for transition now. So for the reversal here, but I'm not absolutely not looking for it. So um, this doesn't matter right now. As long they keep on trying, as long as they push higher, trying to push higher, as long as the selling got absorbed by a strong bid, there's no reason to sell. So the 75 area, by the way, is about to reach right now, or it could, at least it could be reached. This wedge consolidation is still on. So this level from 69 to 74, they still absorb the selling. So the profit taken hits strong bid. So the bid does not yet make lower prices available. And this was happening. So they're still looking for high prices. Still no reason for sell. One need to see that the absorption stops and the level 69 is taken out with volume. If not, we stay in this trade and looking what price will do. What else can I say? Nothing. I can't say anything else because trading can be sometimes a little bit, I wouldn't say boring, but you have to be patient, and you have to be patient with the right attitude. Nothing to say here. Now we're at the 69 area. So the upper distribution of the daily profile here got filled out now. So we have a LVN area at the 67. So 67 is the, yeah, this is the last price acceptance for me for an ongoing long. If they can't hold 67, if they push lower, for me this is the end of the trade. If they stay above the 67, 68, there's also a spike to 66 allowed if they reject the buy and reject market quick. But if not, so this is the area where it needs to hold now. Because the selling interest now is increased dramatically. So that doesn't mean nothing as long as absorption holds. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If absorption holds, then the interest of one big guy, which is seen as absorption, is bigger than the mass, than everybody who's trying to sell here. So that doesn't matter. The only thing is absorption need to go on, and after it we need to see a switch to the on the buy side. Even though the selling is huge, the guy or the guys who holding it above is still active. So a bit still absorbing. But I wonder how long this can be. But I'm not getting paid for wondering or guessing. And the advantage is still on the bull side. Advantage still on the bull side. So think of it now. All the people who are selling right now, all the people who sold the last 5 to 10, 15 minutes, they're all sitting in their short. Of course, some of them are not short-term traders, some of them just investors, some of them just hedging portfolios, some of them just don't care of the short term, but a lot of them are also trader of the short term. And they are all sitting now in the short. And they see that there's some huge guy or some huge guys who hold in. As long as they hold, they have a problem if prices is going higher, if so. If not, then they're in advantage. If they can push it lower than the 167 area or even lower, then they are in advantage and the price can go back to the open range POC maybe. No, this is the area where it's separated today from the breakout area around the 61, 62 area where I said where I was looking for the long, at least to this area, the 63 to for me the 60, 61 area. This is a really nice area right now here at the 60, 67, where we have to watch what is happening. They still try to push. They still hit the bid, but still this upper distribution holds. Yeah, let's see who wins the battle. For a long trader, that means go out of the long if they push it lower, and with increased volume, stay in. For me, with more contracts, if you trade more contracts, I would say stay in this trade as long as the 67 is not taken out with volume and absorption stops. So in 3 minutes, now 2 minutes, we have the unemployment rate of Germany. This is an important number, it's 9.55, so beware of it. Okay. So a little better numbers for the unemployment in Germany, and the overall June, the numbers are equal to the prospect. A little weaker EMI in Germany also. This was the not so important number, but it helps to drive Bund's prices a little bit lower. So that means a lot of people now, are at least more than the last 20-25 minutes, are trying to push it higher now that they buy in the market. For me, as I said, the first, or the target of this whole distribution was the area around 80 to 82. So that was the reason why I said hold on if you're trading more in 1 or 2 contracts. If you're only trading 1 contract or maybe 2, of course, you see they couldn't made it 2 times above the last high of 74. So of course you take the profit. So of course do I. But if you're looking for a home run trend and you got a very cheap price entry today, as I said, at 9, 11, 12, around 60, 61, 62 at least, or 62 still, then for me, there was no reason to leave it. But this is always thinking for the home run position. This is important to understand. That's the difference. The signs in the short term was take your profit. The sign in the short term was there is a range market. There is the whole distribution from the day before. There was this pivot around 77, 76 around, just technically. But for me, the home run position was still on. So to not have any mistakes. You always have to separate what is your short-term targets, what are the positions, what style of trading you do. If you're trading more contracts and also looking for a third or a contract that you want to hold on, then you have to think, of course, different, because this is the first contract pays you, the second maybe delivers you an intraday scalp target, which means in Bund about 5 to 10 ticks. And then there's the third position or more. You're trying to hold on, because this is out of your expectations anyway. You can't make a prospect. You can't. You do not know what will happen, what will market react. But if you're in it and you're paid and you can go out by scratch, it's house money. There's no risk. You have an absolute no risk. And if you see the market at all, I mean at the long term, even though we had a 2 weeks consolidation, as I said in my preparations today, even though we are more in a range, even though there is the probability that in the long term, Bund market is in a long-term long trend. So now we reach the target. And for me now, I would say this is now we need to watch if this can hold on longer, because now we extend this area and now we are at the upper end of the distribution. So this means this is where the people now trying, the bigger sellers try now to sell, because this is the cheapest area. See at the monthly value, see at the week value, see at the previous week. See, this is the upper end of the distribution. So for people trying to get cheap into a too high price that runs too far away from value, this is the selling area for the big guys, not for the retail. So we have to see now if there's still buying interest around this top area, around the 80, 87. And of course, the probability is lower. Now the advantage of probability is a little bit on the sell side, because we've seen it before with a 2-week consolidation. So now you can decide. This is the area I said where we have to watch for my long trade at the 80 to 87 to 82. We reached it, and now you have to decide. Are they strong enough? And it's easy for me because the LVM, the separation of this price move is exactly right now the 172.75. If this got taken out, I would let loose of this position, of this probable home run trade, because then you should concentrate on taking your profits here. This is the area, 75. But if you only get out here and then the 74, 73, you still made good ticks today, didn't you? And they can. You see that? Reactive selling, normal interest at the high. So what you see right now, even from the TPO, if you watch this is the moment. If they react quick, if we get a V-shaped transition, then this is the moment where those single prints got created. The single prints in TPO. Doesn't matter if you watch the TPO or watching the volume profile or a combination of it. So this is important. So now we hit the 75. You see a reaction right now. Reaction, buyers trying the second time now to get above. And this is now the reversal zone. This is now reversal zone. If we see the lack of interest above the 78, holding on and see the rejection. If you guys looking for the cheap sell entry, then this is the moment to watch for it. But right now, they fight about it. Let's see what happens. No one knows. Now take care. Watch out what is happening. We try not to get higher. We made the pullback to the LVN. People are invested. Risk on. Risk is in the books. We go into this area. Now wait. See if there's rejection. See if the rejection pushes price lower. See if this is for the aggressive entry for the sell in the big picture, for the selling in the range. Then this is your price. But only if you see a rejection means market sellers and having resulting in lower prices. But right now you see not so much selling. The little bit it got sold is pushed, and you see bid blocking. That means people trying to get in still. Not only active but also passive. So again, this is a structure, a wedge constellation that holds, and no reason to sell for your probable third home run contract. Now you see bigger selling. 177, 76 got sold, 70. Now they push it. So I would now say if this price rejection now keeps on, I don't let prices fall deeper than 73. I would set my stop below there. But don't reject too early because they absorbed it. They bought 2,000 contracts in Bund. This is Eurostoxx level. This is Eurostoxx amount. They bought 2,000 contracts at 74. So they pushed it out. They triggered some stops from people buying. And we also see this. But as long as they keep on staying above the 73, with this signs of absorption here, this is a strong sign of the buyers. You can easily quit the position with 72. But as long as they stay above, I'll stay in. There are also some numbers at 10, minor numbers. Money amount EWU credits on the private sector, and the EMI, final EMI at 10 o'clock EW. Then also the unemployment rate of Italy. And there are a bunch of numbers at 10:30 of Great Britain. So the next half an hour, no numbers. Market should be controlled by the traders and not by the news traders. So that was very interesting. Again, recap it. 10 at 5, trying to push it higher. Then there were numbers, a little bit news driven maybe. Then they spit out everything. They spit out a lot of contracts. They sell, they hit the bid. But then the time they hit the LBN, this area, the volume edge of the 2 days profile, this was 10 o'clock, 5 minutes and 30 seconds about around. they got huge buying absorption at the 73, 74, 75 level. Huge. Active buyers, passive buyers. So still interest. Still interest in buying. You don't need to know why. You just have to see it objectively. There is. Neither I do. stock markets help the Bund to rise, to at least stay strong, stay bullish. As DAX and the other stock markets are a little bit correcting here. This is good for Bund as well. So if you think what to do next, still stay in this in the home run position of the initial long trade from today, but also see the 2 days profile. The 2 days profile now is a little bit changing to a normal distribution from a trendier to now switching a little bit more to a normal. That doesn't mean anything, but it means if it becomes how to say it? It becomes more interesting if the rejection continues here on the upside, because then we see that the day ends its trendy character and switching to a normal distribution. Okay, now they spit it out. For me, this will be the sign now to end this home run position. But still, if you went out now at the 71, 72, this would mean at least 10 tick plus with your third position, at least a 8 to 12 ticks with your second position, or whatever you mean. Whatever you try to handle it. So at least if we take a look at my morning outlook, you see that I said target area number 1 is about here, which we made at the 66, 68. We made it. Then we went higher and I said the next target is the 82. Which we made it. And then I said a home run probability, which I said if they can build value above this area here, above the distribution, then we have the probability to even get a home run in a trendish environment. This would be possible, but also if market news catalysts are setting in, then it's also possible. We made target 1, 66, we made target 2, 82. So this is the areas where I said assume that the bigger market participants are also reacting onto. It's not my forecast where prices ran to. This is not. It's just where I expect that there is a reaction of the market, and this is where you have to watch which ability to read the intraday bias. And it happened. So they made it up to the 81. Okay, they didn't make the 82, but they made it up to this distribution from 87 to 82, and they could not extend it. Now profile is more shapen back to the D shape, not to the P it was before. And at the moment here at 10:15, they lose a little bit the control. This was the moment where the buyers the first time did not reject the stops, did not hold on their hands, they did not switch to active. This was the moment, so 10:15, for me to even close the possible home run position. Yeah, so that's for me. Hypo number 1 was what the market participants decided to play today. And that's it for my live broadcast today. Thank you for watching. This is Anton Höpfel for MANAPA. Thank you and goodbye.